MiniWarGamer Dave here from MiniWarGaming.com. Wargamers, in this video, we're going to be scrutinizing some miniatures. Now these minis were sent to me by Lazy Squire Games, and it's for their game called Stormsunder. You may have seen it on Kickstarter. It got over $800,000 funded, which is way beyond what they were originally asking for the game. Fantastic, robust game that I played with Luca on the channel over a year ago, so you can see an example of gameplay and what it looks like if you want. But the reason why this is important, the reason why I'm doing this, is because I'm actually collaborating with them now. I'm working with them to develop a game and to release a new game that we create together, MiniWarGaming and Lazy Squire Games. And so the purpose of this video is to actually test to see how good the miniatures are, to scrutinize them, and to get your help, to get your opinion on it. So I'm going to show you a whole bunch, and let me know in the comments below what you think of the minis, what you think of the quality, the detail, and just your thoughts in general. So without further ado, let's dive right in. And here's Jaden. For the first mini that we're looking at, by the way, all of these miniatures are PVC plastic, and they're approximately 32 mil scale. I say approximately because it's about that. It's like heroic 32 mil. This is a winged angelic kind of character. His name is Jaden. And so here's a bit of a write-up on him. It says, Jaden soared across the sky holding the large wound on his chest with one hand. Leora followed closely after him, his blood still dripping from her spear. But we're here to look at miniatures and the details thereof. So let's take a look at the feathers on the wings and the sword and the locks of flowing hair and the abs on the torso and the loincloth with the, looks like a scroll with rope on the front. Got some rocks there on the base. And then for the back here, we have some armor plates. Looks like armor plates on the wings. And then good amount of detail on the back too. So lots of detail for painters if you're into painting miniatures. And also if you're into washing miniatures, if you want to just base coat and wash, there's still a lot of detail to be picked out just simply by doing that. But again, let me know your thoughts down below. Let's take a look at another character. It is actually pretty crazy looking at all of that detail. So if you're a painter, you tell me, is that good? Is that a good thing? I mean, it's coupled with some flowy cape areas where you're able to do some blends. There's a crazy amount of detail on the actual cloak itself. And then he's got this spear, looks like this long spear. I'm gonna call it a spear sword, but because from there it looks like a sword, but it's actually a spear because it's really long. Vilheim. This one's interesting because they provided an unpainted one and then they provided a washed one, just to show the comparative difference here between what you get and what it looks like when it's washed. Now, obviously this isn't the extent of the detail you can put on these miniatures. That's just a simple wash going over it, picking out all the details. I was always a fan of these druid type characters. Crazy amounts of detail here. Let's jump ahead and look at another miniature here. Just taking a look at the weapons. This guy's got 4 arms. Then he has this, looks like a hair tie made out of skulls on the back here with this Egyptian-inspired face mask or helmet, unless that's his face and he's like in these crazy bestial legs. Here's a guard, this massive sword, huge top knot. Yeah, that's interesting. It's not his bare chest, and at the same time, it doesn't look like a chest plate. It's kind of in between. But here's this massive robe he's got, or skirt that he's got on the bottom, which is just layer after layer of detail. And the scroll looks like some sort of roll on his back. Let's take a look at this demonic rider on this beast. That's super cool. Now I know this wasn't necessarily the intent here, but I am reminded of The Witcher when I see this. The Witcher 3 to be exact. Obviously not the same thing at all. I'm just reminded of it when I see that. Which, by the way, is one of my favorite games, so that doesn't hurt in this matter. But super cool detail. You got the weapon on there, his lance that he has equipped, all this armor on this beast with the straps and the rope. And it's looking at the muscles and the sinews of this beast as well is almost otherworldly, because it's not like an earthly beast. It's kind of like this almost undead, demonic, bestial kind of skin. It's almost like a jaguar without the layer of fat. We got a couple smaller characters here. It looks like some sort of vampire hunter. And this, well, if I were to wager a guess, that would be a vampire taskmaster. That's what he looks like. Without knowing any details about the lore, because this is a brand new game to me as well, I'm just looking at the quality of the miniatures at this point and trying to decipher and getting ideas as well. I'm looking at these guys and I'm looking at the possibilities of where we could go in the future with this, what we could extend into. Because this is, I mean, it's very fantasy-esque. There's definitely a fantasy undertone here, not futuristic, so that is the game that we are making. We are making a futuristic game. By the way, I'll mention this again at the end of the video, but Lazy Squire Games, they have a current GameFound campaign that they're running right now. It's for their game, it's for their expansion to their game called Wild Assent. And I've provided a link below for that, and it's insane. Like, you look at this game, it is so robust. Like, there's so much that comes with this game. A ton of miniatures, lots of different factions, and detail like this, actually. So if you look at the detail in the miniatures that you see right here in this video, that is very similar to what you get in that game. So this is the quality of the miniatures you can expect from Lazy Squire Games when you're seeing this. So hopefully this will help to give you a kind of a visual representation of that and what you can expect. And here's a couple more characters here, just for good measure, just to show you some different options. Of what they are able to do, what they're capable of doing, and what you get in their games. These miniatures, the thing that I also found about their minis is that they come in one solid piece. There's no assembly required for the minis that you get in their games, which, in my opinion, is not good nor bad. I mean, it's good if you don't like to assemble minis. It's bad if you like to convert minis. So it is what it is. So for the most part, it is more convenient if you want to just play right out of the box, right? You don't have to assemble them necessarily. Now, painting them, that's a different story, because you can spend as little or as much time on these miniatures painting them to the detail that you want. And obviously, you'll get a lot of satisfaction and accomplishment out of painting the miniatures and actually adding some color to them and really helping to distinguish them on the tabletop. So that is certainly an option that you have to you, and these are very easily paintable. And we've got one last mini here, just to take a look at it, just to see the detail. The shield and the massive axe, the armor. So those were some of the miniatures that you get in Stormsunder. And again, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about it. Also, if those who are interested wish to check out their current campaign, there's actually a current campaign they have running right now on GameFound. It's for their expansion to their game Wild Assent, which is a game that we have covered on the channel as well. Luca and I played a couple games, a couple battle reports of Wild Assent, and so you can see that played on the channel, and you can take a look at their current campaign for the expansion to Wild Assent. I've provided a link in the video description below. They are already way beyond their asking amount that they wanted for the campaign, so that just goes to show how awesome the campaign is and that people want it. It's nuts. The first day, I mean, the first few hours really, they went way past their goal, and so now it's just a matter of unlocking all those stretch goals and everything else they have in the campaign. It's extremely robust. When you look at it and you look at the miniatures and the amount that you get with this game, it is insane. It's its own world, it's its own universe. You can get lost in this world that they have created, and there's a lot of rich lore and miniatures and detail. And the gameplay is fun itself, because we played it on the channel, and I remember Luca afterwards, he's asking me, he's like, "Hey Dave, what do you plan on doing with the game after? Are you gonna keep it? Could I keep it? Could I bring it home and play with my buddies?" And so when I'm asked that question, that's a really good compliment to the game designers and game creators, because that just means that we are playing a game that is fun and that would be played even if it wasn't played on the channel. So props to you guys, Rob and Nicola, for making a game that my guys want to play. So fantastic. Now to get your opinion, you the viewers, your opinion on the miniatures, whatever you've left thus far. I'm gonna rifle through the comments, I'm gonna read everything and see what you think about the quality of the miniatures and just ideas in general that you may have regarding this collaboration that we have. Just to give you a drop of hint here, it is the futuristic version of Stormsunder. Even the name itself isn't entirely set in stone. It's most likely going to be Starsunder, maybe Warsunder. Leave suggestions for that. What should we call it? Something Sunder. It'll be something Sunder. So what do you think the game should be called? Again, is more ideas, more things that you can leave, and something that we'll read down below. So stay tuned for more in the future regarding this project and regarding Lazy Squire Games and the games that they're making and their campaigns and our collaboration that we're having with them. And happy wargaming.